it's about leaving no stone unturned and eliminating all possible variables.
Over the past 40 years, I've seen a lot of athletes come and go, but one that's really rocketed onto a lot of people's radar is Matt Kerr. Now, you might not have ever heard his name, but you're definitely going to learn a lot about him. Only 4 years ago, Matt was a CrossFit athlete who since transitioned into triathlon and has already risen to the top now as the current 2021 overall age group Ironman World Champion, as well as holding multiple age group course records over the Ironman and the Ironman 70.3 distance.
For me, I guess I'm pretty new to the sport. I've really only been doing triathlon for 3.5, 4 years. It started with 70.3 and then moved to the goal of the completion of a full distance Ironman, which at that point we took pretty seriously to get it right, to have a good day, to have a good experience. And for me, it was luckily enough that I was working with my current coach and mentor still to this day, Professor Grant Schofield. And we started a low-carb approach in the best interest of fueling, maximization for the day.
4 years ago, he was a 10.5-hour Ironman guy, but now he's a world best age grouper and he's going 8 hours and 30 minutes. So what's cool about this is we've got Matt's data to see every step of that progression. When he started his triathlon journey, his fat oxidation was 0.53 grams per minute, a pretty normal figure and something you and I could easily measure up to. But in collaboration with Professor Schofield, Matt has applied this right fuel, right time method, which basically means low carbohydrates to support his endurance zone 2 aerobic sessions and periodize fat carbohydrate consumption around his high intensity workouts and blocks.
Well, I'm not trying to hide anything around the fact that I am a lower carb athlete, and that's how I train specifically, and that's how I fuel and get my nutrients, is around that low carb approach. And that's done in moderation around the kind of training that I'm doing at the time. It works well for me. It goes really well for the long distance Ironman events. And I think trying to maximise, especially in those early days, maximise the fat oxidation rates within myself was a huge priority. I do substitute carbohydrate into the diet to fuel those sessions that are required of the higher intensity, and certainly on race day as well, and leading into a race there's definitely some carbohydrate top up.
Through that approach, Matt and his coach have seen his fat oxidation triple from 0.53 grams per minute to 1.8 grams per minute. This means he has a massive ability to use less glycogen and retain glycogen. Now here's the kicker on his numbers. In the same time frame, Matt's moved his power from 135 watts to over 300 watts when he's at a maximum fat oxidation rate. This has all played a role in Matt becoming the Ironman age group world champion.
Leading into Kona, I'm doing everything that I possibly can to prep as best as possible for that race, and that's knowledge of everything to do with that race, and every race is different. Kona's a very different race to Utah, Kona's a very different race to Cairns, for example, and it's a very different race to Ironman New Zealand. So exploring and experimenting with some of those variables is a massive part in doing as best as I possibly can on the day in Kona. So for Kona, we're here in Maui at the moment. We've got about a 4.5 week block here in Maui, and then we head over to the island about 10 days out from the race. And specifically why we've chosen Maui, we're trying to get some heat adaptation and acclimatation, so that's one thing, and also has been in the environment that kind of replicates Kona in terms of the wind, the heat, and adequate training time on similar and like-minded roads within the area. So we're using this last 4 weeks into Kona to really try and build as best as possible those final few building blocks or stepping stones essentially to get to Kona. We got here nice and early, so we've eliminated the travel factor, that's out of the way, and we can really get here and bank some good training without travel being an issue, as opposed to coming slightly later before the race and having that as a variable or a worry or a consideration moving into those final few training sessions. So it's fantastic to be here.
Join me later this month when I interview Matt and we'll go deeper with him on this topic and what's next for him. If you want to test out what Matt's using, we've built an SFuels quick start pack and guide, which you can get right now on the SFuels website.
I do eat like quite a bit of my food with a fucking spoon, to be honest. So.
Really? Are you using a spoon?
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Doesn't matter, right?
No.
If I can get more on there, that's as far as I'm concerned.
Good call. Yeah. I might have to pick that up as well.
And less dishwashing, right? Because it's just like one utensil.